Hello, my name is Robert, and welcome Susan here to the Daily Dose. We haven't done one of these in a while, and if you're noticing the twinsy thing, this was unintentional and yet intentional.
Oh, like minds, right?
Right,
You
right.
know, there's this thing that happens between you and me every once in a while, which is crazy, where we're so connected in like-minded understanding about something, coming from the same place, having the same heart, and we just went go like that. We just don't hear each other.
Well, we've been doing this show for 4 years now, which is wild, right? And we've known each other for I think going on, it'll be 7 years in the fall
It was
because it was
the fall
2019,
of
right?
2019.
So yeah, so fall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild to me because it's one of those life things where like I feel like I've known you forever, and then I feel like, but we just met not that long ago too.
And it felt that way from the beginning. I mean, the
Right,
very first time we talked, you said I reminded you of your Aunt Linda.
one of my favorite people. Right.
Yeah, so I mean, that was
Uh,
just awesome.
Anyway, all these lovely connections. So thank you so much. Thanks for making time. We know this is one of the good things about a relationship, a friendship like ours, that you know life does this, right? The amplitudes, right? And there are times when we're closer, and times we're like, yeah, I'm spinning off in this world. And for whatever reason, we've spun a little closer over the last couple of days, which has been nice.
Yeah.
A couple of things, and here's what's really interesting to me. It hasn't always been about happy stuff. Like I spun to you about a really difficult thing, which I can share. We got a $15,000 contract blown up. In other words, Yax is not going to get
Oof.
this money
Yeah.
we thought we were going to get because, the well-meaning group we were working with just they are having financial difficulties. And, you know, it's like, oh, okay, that's not happening all of a sudden. And so,
And reality, you still got to deal with it.
well, yeah, yes, the acceptance, right? And it's how quickly, and you pointed out, and I so appreciated how you admired how quickly I got to the yes and of it, right? Because,
Understanding. Yeah.
it's understandable and relatively perhaps easy to sit in the either poor me or F them or whatever, feeling, which are justifiable, but it's I've told you I've had a weird piece about this, about just saying, and it has to do with where we're going to go, talking about Boys of Summer. It's part of it to say, you know what, that doesn't define me. This is a huge deal, for me to not be defined by financial fear, which is a core piece of me, right? Worth.
You have responsibilities, you have a life, you have, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that those things aren't real. It's not like I can just go,
Oh,
yay, don't worry about it. No, 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 no. But it's just saying, okay, without that, does that mean I'm completely screwed? No, it means the stakes are raised for sure. I have some real stuff to do. However, I also have some real stuff right in front of me that is very, in a nice way, it's tangible. And let's go ahead and dive in there because that's what I want to talk about. Let me bring up one thing that I have having to do with Boys of Summer, just to reset that. In 2026, we've had over 30 screenings of Boys of Summer Shortstop, the third film in the Boys of Summer series. And this one came out not long after we met in 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, after my first year of my PhD program. I was in a lifesaver mode because I had lost my my funding. I had lost my mentor. I was adrift in this program that, I was doing fine in academically, but I really didn't have a direction, and I was very much a fish out of water. And I just knew under the current, I said, you know what? I'm going to make this third film because I feel like I have to. It had been 6 years since the one before, and it's going to be a defining moment. And we made it. It was successful from the get. People loved it. It was different than the first two films in that it was a little tighter, a little smaller in scope, but it really worked. It's always gotten excellent feedback. And then, I mean, it screened again in Barcelona at the World Parkinson Congress, did very well there, but then it went on the shelf. It had a couple screenings and again, always did well, but it was always kind of okay, okay. And life busy, PhD, this, that, and the other. This reawakening of the film, the 30 plus screenings here in 2026, leading toward the premiere of Third Base, the fourth film, has been a revelation for me and a real important. lesson about, slowing down and looking back, watching the film over and over again, as I've done, sit with it, sit with it. I keep seeing things and going, oh yeah,
Mhm.
right. Oh, that really, and the film has taken on a different life. And well, let me bring up this picture, which is just one
Yeah,
lovely collage of,
good.
some of what we've done. And I love this. You see several different things here about what we've done this year. You can see from this lovely support group up at San Andreas to a theater out in Maryland,
Way cool.
to another one down in New Jersey, to here I am at a Chick-fil-A with Karen and my dad. I mean, we had a screening at a Chick-fil-A. There we are,
You
right?
did. You had a screening at a Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
And by the way, I picked up a donation check from them because they donated 15% of the proceeds during the screening that day. And
Right. How cool is that?
it was a couple $100. And they're
Completely
just like,
original, cool idea. Right.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were happy to have us. Another one down
Yeah.
here in Ukiah. And then you look, here are numbers. People like numbers. 4.7 out of 5-star average rating. That's a phenomenal rating for the film. And 99% would recommend. And
Wow.
the funny thing about that is that, it was 100% for a long time. And we got the one who wouldn't recommend. And in a way, I think that kind of benefits us because when you're at 100%, people go, is that
Yeah.
fake?
Yeah. Right. Right. And then this just piques your curiosity. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. So there will be a blog someday I'll write about the response because it was kind of funny what the
Well, this
person
is
wrote about.
beautiful.
Yeah.
What
Uh,
am I looking at in the upper left?
in the upper left, is it the Chick-fil-A, this one?
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the Chick-fil-A logo. But
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right.
yeah,
I see it now. Sorry. Yeah, I missed
because
it.
the TV, I mean, we're in their restaurant. They go, here, just put the TV there. I'm like, okay, I guess we're screening there. It's like, it was such a random thing, but I love, they just kind of shrugged and said, of course. And that type of thing, it reminded me of the first Boys of Summer where people were just like, sure, yeah, we'd love to help you out. And it didn't make a thing about it. It wasn't a big grandiose thing. It wasn't whatever. It's like, no, of course I can. So here you go. And that's the type of lovely generosity across our chests right now
Hmm.
that means the world to me. And
Yeah,
two more
yeah.
things to point out here in this little box. There's this quote that came from one of the reviews. There's been a lot of what people have written within the reviews, and one of them says that the film reminds us that life is still worth living. And I just like,
Oof.
wow, what an amazing, beautiful thing, because we know how Parkinson's and any challenge, can make life seem like it's not worth living. That we
Well,
be,
and we heard your dad question that with respect to his independence, and that's just a gut-wrenching thing to hear.
It is, and it hit me hard there, and it hits me again because, one of the great things leading into the film now, the fourth film, is looking at the level of difficulty that we have gone under. Because that was 2018, my dad said that, right? We're talking 8 years later, and you know that with Third Base, we filmed the spine of it just last October. You were there for it the night we did it. And, dad is in a much tougher place. And boy, today in May, since October, he's in a much rougher place. I mean, this is the difficult, damnable reality of this disease, and it's not just aging.
No.
It's not that bad. It's horrific, and there are things we can dial into more later. But I want to stay with shortstop for now, which this very nice next quote: "The best film I have seen of the reality of Parkinson's."
Wow.
That hits me really hard
Wow.
because, this is what, as you know, I want desperately, especially with Third Base, to show is a whole picture because so many films they tell the boring stories, the skip across the surface stories, and that when I say boring, that's going to sound mean. They tell a snapshot version, which goes,
Yeah.
I was scared, I got diagnosed, I worked hard, met some people, and now I'm fine. It ends up, oh boy. And I think even some Boys of Summer films might look like that unto a snapshot. You might think, especially the first one, yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, you had a great adventure.
On good days, we can say that. I mean, I can say it's awesome. But the
Yeah.
damnable thing is, it's still here.
Yeah. Well,
Good
that
days
was
come and
that
go.
was the track, and really, I think the underappreciation of Second Base, which I'm still kind of, it's out there. Like people who want to see it. The first two films for a small donation, you can see them. The second one, I think, has much more to say. And when I edit it a little better, which I plan to do, cut out some things that weren't as important, but really focus on the things that were. I mean, my dad admitting early on, instead of the cure within 10 years, which was the message of Boys of Summer, I don't think I'm going to be here for the cure. Talk about
Mm.
gut punch. And how do I transition to quality of life to make sure life is still worth living, right? And being a grandfather and those types of things, which were a huge part of second base. They may have gotten buried in some of my directional, editing of the time. Not that it's a bad film, but I'm like, I know I can reframe some of that. And that's the power of now. It's like, yeah, I can help reshape that into to making sure it fits the entire narrative of where we're going. Um, yeah.
A few minutes ago, you said something about slowing down,
Mm.
and I've been thinking about how to, if you will, fix the lack of attention that seems to come our way when all the feedback, the direct feedback from people who do interact with us is so strong and so positive, like those two quotes that you just had up there. And the disconnect. And that's why I was sort of laughing at the beginning about how every once in a while you and I just go, boing, we just miss each other. Don't hear each other, don't understand each other, but because of the history and the trust, we've learned to slow down. And if that's what, if you're going to feel better about the second film, buy a redo, you'll do that. In going into the future, what is so beautiful are these recommendations and these comments that people are sending us in abundance. I mean, the feedback after each of your screenings, verbal in the moment, and then people taking the time to write beautiful letters. It's just astonishing.
Well, you're teeing us up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and lean into it right now. We've recently had a couple of screenings. I'm very proud to say that we've been at three centers of excellence for Parkinson's, the Lou Ruvo Brain Center for Health, Cleveland Clinic down in Las Vegas, Harvard Beth Israel, Deaconess Medical Center, and then most recently UC Davis. And we have one lined up with Muhammad Ali coming up later this month before third base premieres down there in Arizona. Very nice, kind of, hand in hand. So you talked about the beautiful letters. One of the disconnects we've had has been, like you said, we've reached the people on the ground, the people with Parkinson's family, like that's often been there. But as I've told you, and it's part of the reason I went to get the PhD was, we need medical institutional support, right? Dr. Mari from the Lou Ruvo Center, instrumental in me getting my PhD. And I had that full circle moment with him on stage when we screened Shortstop down there about, him saying, go get your PhD. And I was like, well, I did. And here we are together.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Um, and
Go
and
get your
then
PhD.
yeah,
Like it
and
was
then
a simple thing.
well, he didn't do that. I give him credit for that. He's
Okay.
he's pragmatic, and a very bright guy, and talk about a guy who moves fast because his brain really. Whew. But at any rate, the you mentioned the letters, so when you the institutional support. I think it's a game changer. I really do, because this is where we get the people who are the leaders in the field who do have, they have challenges like everybody does financially, especially in our current environment. However, they do have some muscle. They do have some ability to do something. And our outward stated goal, I can put this here right now, part of it anyway, is to get to all, I believe it's 55 of these centers of excellence and say, you should screen this film. And the more that get it, or at least have it on their radar heading into the World Parkinson Congress, if they're heading there, they'll come see third base,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And, then say, oh gosh, yeah, can we screen, shortstop or this, that, or the other? But let's get to the letters. First one is from our friends at, I mean, number one, Harvard, the name just carries Harvard,
Yes.
right? It is one of the oldest and most, storied academic institutions in our nation's history. And so this is from a dear man and a dear woman, Dr. David Simon and Lissa Kapust, who are part of the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Known them for years. Anyway, I'm going to read the letter. It says, regarding Boys of Summer Shortstop by Dr. Robert Cochran. Dr. Robert Cochran is a masterful filmmaker, storyteller, and devoted son to his father, who has Parkinson's. On April 22nd, 2026, our Parkinson's community at Harvard Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center were privileged moviegoers entitled to preview The Boys of Summer Shortstop, a documentary by Dr. Cochran regarding his father, who has Parkinson's, and the third film of a four-film series. Dr. Cochran engaged a group of people with Parkinson's care partners and healthcare professionals in a lively and thoughtful discussion that bridged the heartbreaking challenges and the personal rewards of caring for a loved one with PD. Dr. Cochran approached our Parkinson's Center of Excellence with the idea of viewing this film remotely prior to featuring the fourth film, Boys of Summer Third Base, at the World Parkinson's Congress in May 2026. We actively promoted this event to our Center of Excellence community and, as predicted, got an enthusiastic response. Viewers were drawn in by the documentary's premise, a father and son journey that begins in the world of baseball and ultimately leads to a deep exploration of their relationship. Adding another layer is the presence of a grandson who joins with them on the journey, offering a glimpse of the experience through his eyes, one that will live on in him long after the trip itself has ended. What began as a virtual experience never felt confined by the screen. Dr. Cochran, using his humor and passion for telling the story, brought the event together in a way that was fully alive and deeply present. We were highly appreciative of Dr. Cochran's willingness to generously share his time, and especially for making this inspiring film with his dad. We expressed our gratitude to him after the event, saying, "There are no words to adequately express my thanks and appreciation for all you are doing. You have sparked so much discussion among people with Parkinson's and our team. You knocked the ball out of the park, and I'm talking Fenway." Together, the film and conversation left us with something lasting in the end. Boys of Summer is at its heart a love story between a father struggling to come to terms with his illness and his son seeking to meet him there. Baseball becomes an enduring metaphor for the ties that bind us. Dr. David K. Simon and Lissa Kapust.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so intimate and personal, and then to want others to have that experience, to put that out there. Yeah,
What
inspiring.
they yeah, I mean what you see is what I don't think people often understand. And if I can help expand that, which is the heart of an institution, right? People often look at the numbers, the face, the history alone, the hallowed halls type thing. And it's like, you know what makes it that? The heartbeat of the individuals that are running it. And we just got display of two individuals who are helping to run this incredible institution, put that heart vulnerably on display with complete openness.
Oh, and speaking of the heart of an institution, uh, our world, our little world, is that. And again, people who do interact with us feel that, see that, know that, and we are widely misunderstood. We actually do something very different and special. And letters like that, I hope, will help transition opportunities for yaks to be seen.
I agree. And we've talked about, we'll frame it for another day. We can tease it, but we've talked about the transition or growth, expansion, whatever you want to call it, reboot of Yes and Exercise so that we can hopefully better meet the market in a way that helps them understand who we are, the value we bring, and therefore just, naturally connect us in ways, people go, of course, we want to support that. Oh, of course, we understand that, right? Of course, this needs to be, part of things. And, we've known it from the beginning, but this is where communication, which is your life's goal, right? To have better communication as an organization, as an institution, a nonprofit. we know we've missed the mark at times, and not out of bad intent or anything else. It's
No,
discovery.
we innocently and genuinely thought what we were saying was being understood. And that's why I kind of referenced that at the beginning of the conversation. It's like even people who connect as well as we do
Right.
can be like ships passing in the night every once in a while. And
Yeah.
it's going to be the exposure of slowing it down and giving ourselves and others a chance to really figure out which word threw me off, which place did it go wrong. And you said you just only want to tease this. You can cut this off if you want, but I
No,
feel
no, go
like
ahead. Go ahead. As much as you like.
I know what I hear.
Yeah.
People don't understand yes and exercise.
Right. Right.
Anybody who knows anything about improv understands the yes and part of it, and then
For
they get
sure.
lost. And for us, it was so simple. I mean, I just remember seeing you go like this and
Yeah.
saying, you know, you can't go to the gym and do a couple of these curls and think you're going to have biceps.
Right.
Exercise made so much sense to us. Everybody else thought we were talking about squats and stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the opportunity to create an interest instead of a big question mark, to create
Right.
an exclamation mark has come up in a conversation you and I had yesterday in which you
Yeah.
proposed a rebrand.
That's right. Well, and feel free. No, I mean, we could talk about it. That's fine. It also comes, want to shout out Maureen Simmons, our dear friend, who is one of those great slowdown people who has been an instrumental part of helping, rescue us in dire need back in, late fall, early winter. And once again, as she continues to lurk and linger and hang around, say, by the way, and just through this and sparked an amazing conversation, which led to what you and I are now talking about, this idea of reboot, rebrand. And one of the things that came to me was, the yes and we know the word exercise historically important because revolutionarily it was part of my PhD journey. And I've owned this completely to say part of me has called it that. I even call it out in third base to go, you can't say I can't, right? It's defiant, which is fine. That's a point of strength. Don't tell me I can't, right? However, from a pure communication standpoint, years into this, you're 100% right. And Chip, I remember him calling it out too,
My own husband, right?
right? What does that mean? And we go, hey, you'll get it, you'll get it. And it's not that they haven't, they just haven't gotten it as much as we want them to, right? And when you think about what the attention span is for people, if you force them to work too hard, eventually they go to something where it's like the river. They're going to flow easier somewhere. So the
Interesting.
idea now is, yes, and exercise remains, of course, but it doesn't mean the branded front, the storefront can't be yes and X. And X is,
Then there's curiosity. There's like, oh, what does that mean?
yeah. Well,
Leaning in.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? X marks the spot, X as the unknown, X as a scientific, type of
Right.
just find for
Part of
X,
the formula.
correct. It's cleaner, it's smaller, and it has exactly what you said, the leaning ability.
It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I can get down with yes and X is it's something between a question mark and an exclamation point. It's ooh, because we like curiosity as long as it's not I don't get it. If it's like,
Mhm.
huh, I want to know more. There's that thin line, right?
Well, it's not confusion. It's curiosity is not because you're confused. It's
Well,
because you're interested.
intrigued, right? And if
Yeah.
the question is what is X, we've got them. You tell us what is X, right? Let's break down the yes and X. We talked about, and we're still wordsmithing this, but yes is acceptance. That's clean. That's nice. And this is where, we're trying to figure out the power of maybe, and X is the unknown. So acceptance of the power of the unknown. Ooh, that's pretty good.
Because you might not think of the unknown as powerful.
No,
Powerful connotes important and big, that might be intimidating to some,
Agreed.
when in fact what we're saying is it's a gift, it's a lift, it's a helper.
It resets us in our place, right? Instead of saying we know it all, we're done, just listen to the experts, it says we don't know. Come on, everybody, get in the sandbox. We got to figure this out together, right? That, we mentioned this, that in our years of testing this program, the Jam for Joy in the PhD, we used to put up a list of words and phrases that were, just general things and said, what are you attracted to? What do you feel? The one that popped more than any other was fear of the unknown, right? And from a Parkinson's standpoint, that has to do with projecting. That has to do with, oh God, what's next? That has to do with when am I going to not have a life that I feel is worth living? And so we know that, and this is why improv is such a perfect fit, because we literally play in the unknown with intent, with safe and brave, you know, s- activity. We're not just going to sit there and go, yeah, unknown scary. We're going to say, unknown scary, yay.
Yay.
And that leads to courage. That leads to, confidence. And so back to yes and X, if we put the focus on the unknown rather than exercise, which is, it does have other connotations. We can't wrestle it free of what it was, you know. But X, ooh, right? Again,
Yes. Yeah, tell me more.
tell
That's
eh,
what we want, right?
yeah, right,
We want to
exactly.
hear.
So we will, very soon, by the time maybe some of you are seeing this, you'll see a rebrand on our website. New logo, the Yes and X, a lot of the rollout toward World Parkinson Congress. So excited to have all of it. And
Mhm.
yeah, thank you, Susan, as person from day one, because I love our old logo. I love those laughing, smiling yaks. They were part of the don't get it factor.
Well, they were specifically improv.
Yeah,
You
and they
know,
were cute, but again, not quite, right? And we're more than that now. We know we're not just kind of the cute, funny thing. We are.
storytelling came in, cinema therapy, which was previously day one, that came in and took a bigger and bigger
Yeah,
focus and became as much our stamp, flagship identity,
right.
more so really than the improv.
Right. Well, the improv stays integrated. The neat thing about improv is
Is,
is
yeah.
how flexible it is, right? I mean, as you pointed out many times, because you've seen how I've integrated and changed over the years, the way I've used improv in cinema therapy, right? It's an instrumental part of that class. The way
Big
that,
time. They're
because
dedicated, the games are dedicated to the theme of
that's
that
right.
movie, that scene in that movie that day.
And this is the gorgeousness of improv is that you've seen I make up games based on what I feel the group needs based on what you've written. It helps the dance, it helps the curriculum, as opposed to me just saying, this is what we're learning, it's on the PowerPoint. It's like, no, based on what you guys are writing with, you're struggling with, whatever, the game's going to help shake that loose, reframe, play with the
It goes
unknown.
back and forth. We're so integrated. You are, of course, the teacher,
Right.
but
Sherpa.
you are so respective, uh,
Respectful.
respectful of what's going on with us. So if we all are at the low end of a roller coaster ride, you're not going to be up here ignoring that. You're going to shift right in the moment. And uh, the songs, the music, the dance that
Right.
sets off the class each time. It's not just a song that Robert
No.
Cochran likes.
Right.
It's a song that our Sherpa knows needs to happen to help bring us up to where we are, or to support a quieter place where we are in the story. And that's
Well,
just the tip of the iceberg.
and like you said, I mean, I know to a degree, it's not like I know everything. What I'm constantly in awe of, and that's the right word, awe, is when I bring something, I go, there's something here, and then you guys start talking about it, and I go, there it is. Yeah, exactly, right? I put it in front of you. You guys get excited and you start bouncing off each other and yes-anding, and we co-create it. Yeah, I give the parameters. Absolutely. I put time and effort and thought into all of this for sure. Um, the most important thing we do, and we've talked about this many times, is create the space for everyone to have that lean in ability. The feeling of the room that we've constantly been trying to transfer to the outside world to go, you won't know until you see it and feel it for yourself, until you become part of it, how powerful this space is. I mean, it's it's more than a support group. It's
Oh, yeah,
right,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's
And it
life
starts
force.
with the improv, that sense of intimate, connected fun, collaborating in a way that creates a community. And it definitely happens in the improv. Until you're in a cinema therapy class, you don't realize how that gets multiplied.
Yeah, because what happens, it's multiple levels. Number one, you're going to see a tangible piece of art differently. That to me is part of the first transformation. People come in, I mean, I think of someone like Wayne who's like, I don't think I'd ever seen Stand By Me. It's kind of like, what's in this? To where, I mean, I've seen him cry several times about the importance of what the film has reflected to and for him, right? Paula was the same way. People going, and other people who maybe even loved the film who go, oh, I loved it, but I didn't know I loved it because of that, right? So there's the tangible, very latch on piece. The second part to me is, but so what? Does it end there? Okay, I appreciate a film more than I did. No, you actually have something to say, and you may not, again, know what that is. I'm going to go back to Wayne again because his story is so just
Oh,
sitting heavily with me right now. He didn't know anything about this character of Clifford. He didn't know anything
okay.
about photography. He didn't know about being a care partner because he's the person with Parkinson's. However, he has, through a series of yes and choices that he's made developing this together, co-created and authored, in his case, a beautiful, beautiful story that I believe he's a bit in awe of. I hope he's in awe of too, because
And
it's
he
gorgeous.
wasn't a writer. It
No,
wasn't like this is
there's
just a
that
new
term.
subject.
I'm not a
Wow.
writer, right? This is not me. This is the transformation of Wayne, just one of our people, right? Um, you have the same story in that regard. I'm not a writer of this, as you said many times,
Fiction, right?
of fantasy, of
Yeah,
fiction,
yeah.
whatever, of dragons, um,
Friendly dragons,
friendly dragons.
not big
Yeah,
scary ones. Yeah.
right. Um, well, there's a couple scary ones, I think, on Prism Ridge. Some of them have a little more edge to them. Anyway, but the idea being that this is back to what Ryan Cotton, our friend from, Rocksteady, talked
Rocksteady.
about. People walk into the gym, into the Rocksteady gym and go, that's not me. I'm not a boxer. And it isn't until they throw their first punch, give their first primal call, get to know other people, go, oh, I guess this is me. That's the same thing we're doing here, right? Walking into a writer room, I'm not a writer. Well, okay, listen to the song. Oh, I can kind of move. We can talk about that. Play an improv game. Okay, I can watch scene. Oh, use ChatGPT to help get me off of the blank page. Okay. And all of a sudden, get some feedback and realize, well, that's kind of good. I like that actually.
What? Somebody else likes what I wrote that I just
Yeah. The
because
neurology starts to ping in the connectability, right? It's not just what I think about it, it's what someone else thinks about it. And now there's a conversation. That's why you heard me say a million times, the most important writing you guys do is the feedback you leave for each other because you're lighting up your classmates' neurology. You're telling them they matter. You're telling them you care. We all need to know that.
that's the X.
That is
It's
the
the
X.
unknown. They come and they go, what? What is this cinema therapy thing? And back to the power words that you mentioned a few minutes ago, the fear of the unknown is huge. And when you're talking about Parkinson's, it's even huger, if that's a word.
Sure, take it, Dr. Seuss.
It's
Huge.
it's a word, Dr. Seuss, right? Yeah, yeah, that,
Because
yeah.
aging in general, and Parkinson's is accelerant to that in terms of, our ultimate fear, which is I don't think it's just death. I think it's death without meaning, that I didn't matter, that I didn't do my belief, something to make the world better, that I didn't leave a legacy that people said, hey, thank you for being here these past couple decades. You made me smile, you made me laugh, you made me think, you made me cry, thank you. I mean, I think that's what we all want in some kind of way, whether that's intimate. I don't mean they all need to be celebrities and, put out, it's not that.
No, it's acknowledgement.
Yeah, yeah,
Just being
that
seen. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we mattered. Yeah, there's that word mattered. My sister was drilling me with that one. It's really great. And Dr. Bradley McDaniels, great friend, was talking about the construct of mattering. And another conversation in another daily dose, if you want to look that up.
Well, it ended up
Um,
in my next to last chapter of my book. The
mattering.
concept of mattering. Yes. Yes.
I love it. And this is what you guys all do. You take pieces of the various things we all do and you remix them into your piece. I'm going to call up another student right now whose piece I'm very much in love with as well, Venetia. Um, Gorgeous writer coming in. She was a writer before she came. Okay, that woman could write. What she's done is she's exposed pieces of herself that I think were probably hard to get to or
For
hard
her.
to admit.
Yeah. Hmm.
And they have to do with the progression. They have to do with the fear of the ex, right? And she's been very open about a lot of that. And she's got this amazing piece where, her proxy character, Heather Rose, among a larger story, ends up going inside of her own head, becomes the incredible shrinking woman to face what she has metaphorically given Parkinson's to as a viper fish, which is an ugly, nasty little
Ooh, yes.
real
Yes.
creature. And she
Yes.
has given it the role of Parkinson's attached to her substantia nigra in her brain. And she goes on this fantastic voyage, aka, the old classic film, right? Into her own brain to try to understand the relationship with this thing and come to a really interesting position that she's not going to be able to beat it. But does that mean she has to succumb to it? Or its offshoots, and this is fascinating. She did this last week. The offshoot, the children of it, were these smaller versions that were things like apathy, anxiety, stuff like that. And she learned she could beat those even if she couldn't beat the core viper fish. That was beyond her. And have you read her piece this week?
This week, no, not this week yet. No.
So she did something fascinating. She wrote two endings.
Oh.
And they're not endings, but they're endings to the resurrection that take very different paths. And I'll
Hmm.
leave it there for now
Oh,
because
wow.
don't not only spoiler, and you're going to read it
Okay.
anyway. But I also came up with a title for her that I hope she loves because she has this title that to me I don't like, and I've told her that. It's where the viperfish glows. I'm like, it's almost like where the red fern grows. It's like, no, that's not right at all. That's not what we're doing here. And frankly, the story isn't about the viperfish. It's about the feeling. And what I gave to her after some play, I gave it to her this morning, was the title Undertow. And as an ocean person, I think you get it, because she has, the great beach element, the Santa Barbara beach community, which is a part of her life and whatever. And the feeling is of her character being sucked in, sucked away by this force that's larger than her. And she has these kind of sand dollar talismans throughout too. So the cover I made for her is her foot in the sand with the water floating out
Oh,
and the
oh,
sand dollar, and at the corner of the frame is a viperfish.
oh.
And I hope she likes it.
Wow.
It's a nice, clean title that could mean so much undertow, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
speaks toward the flow, the ebb and flow of life and being sucked away and all those things in the passage. And
There's the danger, the
yes,
the
always the beach, right?
the.
Beware of the undertow.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And isn't that Parkinson's? I mean, back to the first short stop, first Boys of Summer. I don't know if you remember the guy we met in Detroit that we stayed the night at his house, who was pretty advanced in his Parkinson's. John, I feel terrible. I'm not coming up with his last name, but I know his name was John. And he told my dad, "Don't let the disease eat you." And that really stuck with my dad.
Hmm. Did it? Yeah.
And here's the truth of it now, sad but true. It is eating my dad. It is. And this is the viperfish metaphor and all that. And I'm sure, I'm reasonably sure John has passed. That's 20 years ago. He was in a later stage when we saw him. Um, but that's
His
the truth of.
message, though, was don't let this disease eat you.
Hmm.
And what you what I know of your dad's situation is it is, but it's not.
And
And sorry, and he's not letting it. I
yeah,
think John's advice was about don't be passive. Like,
correct. Well, there you go. You just said it. What's everything we do in cinema therapy? What do I say to you guys constantly? Don't be passive. The hero has to be active.
and right, yeah. Hmm.
And what do we know about Parkinson's, right? Isolation, sedentary life, that is a killer. That will kill you. Activity, literally exercise, you know, or in social engagement,
Hmm.
these things can keep you alive and can help you look at that X differently, can help you embrace the
Yeah,
unknown
yeah.
as a positive rather than a fearful undertow.
Your dad's still fighting. He's still pissed off about this.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
not letting. I mean, the disease gets to a viperfish stage, right?
it's hard. I mean, being completely transparent, because we've talked about it a little. I mean, I, this is the tough line that we walk with Boys of Summer that, and what's going to be very interesting about the fourth film, putting it out is, it's the most lean into the difficulty we have. It still has the joy. It still has the fight is in there, but we lean further into death. Dad talks a lot less because it's hard to understand him. It's hard for him to speak. And so I am speaking for him many times. And a lot of times that's through music, which is one of his favorite
Yeah,
forms.
yeah.
And it's that line that I cover in the last bit, which people will see in the credit sequence, the rap segment, right? Don't mistake my joy for lack of struggle, right? That we
Mm.
have, we're gonna jam, we're gonna party, we're gonna this, that, and the other, but don't mistake my joy for lack of struggle. This damn PD has got us all in trouble. There's a real viperfish exposing everybody,
Mhm.
out for everybody. It's not just bad luck, as my dad said years ago, which was, kind of our uh, blissful ignorance at the time. Not blissful, but ignorance, let's just say. Um, no, we know it's environmental. That's unmistakable. There is something we can do about it by raising our voices. It's not a pitiful disease. It's something that we can, if we're active, and I don't mean just us, the Parkinson's community, but by telling stories that activate others. And I had this experience with, one of my dearest friends yesterday. Must have said to me 4 or 5 times, I didn't know that was Parkinson's. I didn't know that was
Oh, you
Parkinson's.
mean like a particular symptom or behavior or something?
Yeah. Yeah, talking about the hallucinations and delusions, I mean, and by the way, that's not just in stage. Jimmy Choi was talking about hallucinations and delusions early onset. Matthew has talked about those things. You know,
Oh, and I have had my fair share, not like Ryan Reynolds' dad, or not like
right.
perhaps your dad, definitely your dad.
Yeah.
Man, it's a weird experience and you fight for it. You believe it, right?
Deeply scary, deeply affecting the behavior. I mean, the things that it can do to you when your brain is not working the way you expect, when the viperfish, to follow Venetia's thing, is active and tricking you. You can look at it like a Dr. Evil living inside of you if you want to metaphorically. It's, I told you, I feel like my dad is sitting there recognizing in a very scary, sad way that he's living inside of a horror film right now. He doesn't know when the next time this thing is going to happen to him and is going to make him act or react in the way that we saw, but we spoke of, but didn't really evidence in third base on that, fateful night, the flight from hell when, dad read me the riot act in front of you and Francesca. And, it's like, what in the world? I mean, I've never had him talk to me like that. And that was this. And,
It was like he was possessed.
That there it is. Possession, part of the horror trope. And that is part of the Viper thing. That is the attack. That's the unknown or underreported side of Parkinson's that people think it's this. And it's like, no, it's so much deeper. It's so much scarier. It's so much more problematic. It's such an attack on the human being, on the identity. And that's what we're not addressing enough.
And your experience with your friend that you were describing yesterday of hearing things and having no idea.
And he's one of those people, like I think so many people are, he hears that and goes, well, I want to help. I didn't know. I simply didn't know it was that bad. Of course, I felt bad. I felt, and again, no blame or shame. I felt more pity. Oh, that's too bad. That sucks. Things I can see suck. But when I know it's that, you know what that does? Wait a minute. What? What? No, we've got to do something. I've got to do something. And
As
it doesn't matter
did,
what it is, but the fact that they've been activated is the importance.
like, the mothers against the mothers who lost their kids, who
Mad.
united and became mothers against drunk drivers, and the same
Right.
with HIV.
Yeah. I mean, they simply refuse not to be heard. And that's where we need to be. And that is, this is where fuck Parkinson's is our moment. We know that. And did you get the email that I sent out to all you guys this morning?
No, not
Maybe
yet.
not. Okay, no worries. You'll see. It'll be part of our going forward. It's my call to adventure to all of you guys at this stage, the Return with Elixir, where we are in the Stand By Me Cinema Therapy program. That Monday's class, one of the slides, and I'll give you everybody a heads up today to prep for it, is I need everybody to start with, the opening line, here's how I'm fucking Parkinson's disease, and giving the 25-word story, version of your story, and then join us. And I want all of you to be our walking, talking billboard because the problem with fuck Parkinson's is even though it's Harrison Ford and Michael J. Fox, two of the biggest and best you can do, I can feel the wane of that a little bit. It's dropping out of the public consciousness, right? The shock
Mm,
value is going away.
mm.
And it has even the shirts, hats, great, fine, whatever. I'm sure we'll see some bump at the World Parkinson Congress. That's fine. But stories go far beyond a slogan. That's where we need to yes and fuck Parkinson's and say, here's how we're doing it. Because people
That's
can really
really
know.
interesting. That's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to think about.
Because otherwise people go, fuck Parkinson's, great. What does that mean? I said it, so are we good? No. Here's how. You're going to support this story. You're going to read this story, which means
It's
on your
really interesting,
guys'
Robert.
side, you're going to publish your stories. So that's the big scare to y'all is no more, work in progress. It's like, it's time to show and prove.
That it's the temptation is to be oh uh, edgy, and
For the sake of edgy.
yes, and clever with your edgy or whatever. But the truth is, it really does suck, and we really do want to obliterate it. That's what the fuck part is like.
And that's why we need to say it though, right? I mean, and they did that brilliantly in Shrinking, where everybody stepped into it eventually.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it took them time because they could hear Michael saying, "Oh, that good, you're right. That's not say it,
yeah. It's not the
say
same
it,
as saying it. Yeah.
right." And let it shock you, let it ripple across you, and then go, "Wait a minute." So because the next question is how. So okay, fine, you got me. I'm with you. How are we going to do this? And
Let's
that's
take advantage of this moment right here and
yeah.
have you repeat the charge that you're giving your class, your little class, and put it out here in a dose for however many people hear this. To Is it 25 words you want us to?
Yeah, yeah. It's 25 words or less, your tagline, right, for your
Yeah.
story, because your story has to be your vehicle for how you're fucking Parkinson's disease. And it has to be the Trojan horse. And by the way, sidelight, I'm so excited about the Odyssey this summer, the ultimate hero's journey, the Matt Damon, Chris Nolan film, to hopefully even raise the hero's journey up more. This is our Trojan horse, right? This is how we get the outside world we get into the outside world. We come in through story. And these stories that people go, that's just a great story. It happens to be about Parkinson's, gets them doing what my dear friend did yesterday. I didn't know. I didn't know. That needs more. Yes, and I'm going to donate. Yes, and I'm going to get involved. Yes, and
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
all those things.
So, would you make a straight up challenge to the greater viewing audience and tell them where they should send their 25 words or less?
Oh, well, here's the thing. It's not for the viewing audience. It's for our class because that's where the seed is being planted right now.
Oh,
So for our students who have received the email, it's for them. Now, to our dear audience and watching members of this, you will hopefully in short time, maybe as soon as we'll see how Monday goes, I'll be able to clip out of that class, start to see, what these challenges from the class are to all of you.
and if
And
we scatter seeds that
mm,
take root,
right.
uh, I'd love to imagine those being compiled into something that
Yeah, oh
could be.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. And the nice thing is that you all have landing pages. You have living spaces online as part of the Yaks website. All of your pitches are part of that. We know the World Parkinson Congress is going to be part of that. We'll talk about that more at this week's board meeting, how it'll actually live there. Yes, to all of this. It's living, breathing, active, real stuff. And if I may, I'd like to read the second letter, this one from UC Davis pointing back to Boys of Summer, shortstop. We had that screening, as we mentioned, at the Center of Excellence last week. And immediately, Dr. Mahato Chang wrote this beautiful letter, which I will read now.
Thank you. I'm glad you're sharing it.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Dear Center Director, because I asked about addressing to other centers of excellence, which is very generous of her. I wanted to share with you an idea for a community outreach event for your Parkinson's Foundation Center of Excellence. This week, we hosted our first ever movie night featuring the film Shortstop, which is the third film in the documentary series by Robert Cochran called Boys of Summer. It is a beautiful series that chronicles the Cochran family's journey with Parkinson's over the course of 25 years. I don't want to give it all away, but Robert masterfully weaves humor, love, frustration, joy, and hope throughout a very poignant 53-minute film. Invited patients, care partners, extended family members, and learners, neurology residents, and medical students. Oh, that's who it included. And at the conclusion of the film, Robert opened the floor for an open dialogue about the various themes and emotions that we all connected with. It was a fantastic discussion that went far beyond what we can talk about during our clinic visits. That line right there, I'm just stopping for a minute because when once again, a celebrated doctor, and Dr. Mahato Chang is wonderful in what she does, kind of gets back to that, to saying we don't have time to do this sort of thing that Robert is helping us slow down to do. And she's pointing directly toward medical education because that's her passion, is to teach young doctors. And she sees the value of this for them, some of them who were in the room. Spectacular. She says, that is the power of the arts. Dance, music, poetry, film. It allows us to connect with each other on a deeper, more meaningful level. The entire event was such a hit with our audience, we are now planning the next one. I
Woo.
recommend hosting Robert for a screening at your center. It's a great opportunity to engage your PD community, teach learners, and explore humanism and the arts in medicine. Sincerely, Noriko Mahato Chang.
Teach learners.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Well, because we've been at this a little bit. We have our dear friend at St. Mary's, we've been forever after, and some others to say, who have been those. We get it, we want it, but they haven't yet cleared the hurdle. Maybe this letter from, one of their colleagues with the success story of them having done it. And again, we can show them how simple it was, how low cost it was. I mean,
Right.
clear all those barriers.
Yeah.
This is right there in front of you. Look at the incredible effect. You know, how can you not take advantage of this? You might be derelict of duty to not jump on this, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the idea. And so, thank you to Dr. Simon. Thank you to Dr. Malhado Chang. Thank you to Lissa Kapust. For this is
Putting
going to
it in
be
writing.
For putting it in writing, for having it
Yeah,
be their words on their letterheads, right?
yeah,
That carries weight.
for sure. I can't wait to share it.
And to now it's going to those centers of excellence, those 50 plus other ones with these letters in hand and
Mhm.
saying, you know what? Take a look at what your colleagues are saying. And even if they don't, do anything between now and then, if this gets me to have a conversation, if they're coming to the World Parkinson Congress, which I'm guessing the majority of them are, they're going to have reps there at least. And it sparks a conversation. And I can get them in the room for third base. And they go, oh, yes, we do need this.
And this is
That,
different. And um,
mhm.
let's explore X. What
Let's
is,
explore X
yeah.
together, right? It's a new lens on X. And that is a very scientifically academic, thing. A new lens on X. That's very nice. Well, my dear, what a wonderful, inspired, charging hour of time with you. Thank you for making time.
Ah, yeah.
Thank you for bringing your generosity.
Wasn't that just crazy how I opened it up? Yeah, yeah.
Go and expand on this in your day. Share the love with your family, with your friends, and maybe on the page with Flint and Ellie and talk. And I'll post this and we'll start spreading those seeds. Okay.
Whew.
Take care.